Good evening. I am Dr. Larry Hall, University Provost and Professor of Political Science here at Lenoir-Rhyne University. And on behalf of Dr. Wayne Powell and the entire Lenoir-Rhyne University community, I want to warmly welcome you here for this very important event this evening. 2013 Hickory City mayoral debate is of course a very important event as we prepare for the elections this fall. This event is hosted and sponsored by Lenoir-Rhyne University, specifically our School of Journalism and Mass Communication, and particularly our Lenoir-Rhyne University debate program. I want to give a very special thanks to Professor Cade Hamilton and his students for their significant work in organizing and preparing for tonight's important events. At Lenoir-Rhyne University, we seek continually to integrate education in the classroom with learning on our campus and beyond the campus into our communities. When I have an opportunity to speak to prospective students and parents, I'll note that at LR, we often do to learn, connecting classroom activity with the world, the laboratory beyond the classroom. But more importantly, as our students do to learn, we also hope that they will learn to do, that they'll cultivate within themselves a passion for reflection, for learning, for growing, and most of all, for taking their knowledge, their skills, their temperaments into the world to serve and to lead for positive change. Obviously, to achieve these high goals is in part about promoting knowledge. Equally, though, it's about breaking down ignorance, apathy, and cynicism. And it is to these ends tonight that we are proudly able to present to you this debate. Thanks to each of you for being here and to each of our candidates for taking the time this evening to be here for this important event. Without further ado, I turn the evening's activities over to Professor Cade Hamilton. Thank you.
I'd love to echo Dr. Hall's sentiments. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to all of the candidates for being here. We really appreciate this opportunity. And so to start us off for tonight, we have opening statements provided by each of the candidates. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to sort of outline their vision for the city, and then we'll move on to moderator questions. And so, with no further ado, let's start us off. Let's start with Mayor Wright.
I thought we were going to do random draw.
Oh, would you like to do random draw?
You said we would.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, then let's do that.
But I'll go first. I'm ready. The reason I don't want to sit at the table, is this on?
You might try the podium first.
So I'm going to have to stand at the podium, right? I don't like this for several reasons. One, I can't see. Everybody's just kind of a blur out there. And secondly, I want you to know, I always feel, in a meeting like this, I feel like I want to be one with the audience, okay? And when I'm standing behind the podium, I feel like I'm teaching or something, and I don't like that. But anyway, I want to talk about how great Hickory is and where we're headed in Hickory. We are working with Catawba County and the other municipalities on something called Innovate Catawba. And we're here in Hickory, we're calling it Innovate Hickory, and maybe you're hearing Inspiring Spaces. That's a multi-pronged approach involving hundreds of citizens of all walks of life that will result in a better trained workforce with more attractive renovated or demolished old buildings, with job-ready sites, and with spaces that will inspire people to move here and live here. I want to talk about some things that I think you'll be proud of. Habitat for Humanity, for example, is a partnership with the city. The city does free water and sewer taps. In return, Habitat builds homes. As a result, this year, Habitat homes are paying, not only are over 140 families enjoying the benefits of home ownership and a stable home life, but they're paying $260,000 in property taxes in Catawba County. That's a great partnership for us. Swim lessons. 704 children have taken advantage of swim lessons provided absolutely free by the city and the YMCA. All of our recreation programs for adults and kids are absolutely free. Sometimes they need to buy a shirt. If they can't afford a shirt, we have means to make sure that no one is turned away for inability to pay. Lenoir-Rhyne University. What an inspiration that is to us with the new Science Center and the chapel in progress. The sales. Everyone enjoys it. 2,500 went to the symphony. Contra's Quartet was on Letterman and at the sales within about a 3-day period. Cornerstone United announced today they're taking the Piedmont Wagon building, they're going to renovate it, and they're going to add jobs. Holler Hosiery, look what a great example that is. $7.2 million, of which about $200,000 is city, about $3.5 federal tax credits, and $3.5 private investment. You're seeing the signs at Moret Mills. The same thing going on at Moret's. The Conservancy that the Lackeys have committed to down by the Guyton Park. Is somebody keeping time?
10 seconds, sir.
I thought we were going to get a minute, 30 seconds.
I've got time signals, but
So I have to look back at you, okay?
that would be great.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and finish, about 15, 20 seconds.
You have 10 seconds, sir. That's when we left.
We have collaborated with all of the cities and counties in this area. When we fought the water battle, that was a joint collaboration. And today, Hickory is in the best financial position that I can imagine we could be in coming through the Great Depression we've suffered from. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out here tonight. I know you had other places where you could have been, which could have been high school football and date night and all types of things. But again, thanks for coming out. As far as our vision, or my personal vision for Hickory, let's just look at the state of Hickory. It's been said that we are in the best financial position since the economic downturn. I've seen all these signs popping up, and I think it's great and grand, but over the course of the past 10 years, we've lost 30,000 jobs. One of the reasons why I'm actually running is I thought, wow, whenever I came back home, because I did leave and came back home, and I thought, wow, what has this city become? This city is almost near a ghost town. Even if your neighborhood looks great, go look around. Go look around to different other quadrants of Hickory and see if it looks great. It won't. There are people who are starving. There are people who are homeless. The homeless population reminds me of Atlanta. No, it's not exactly like Atlanta, but it reminds me of that. And years ago, we didn't have that issue. The issue now is about jobs. What I want to do is handle both of those things. It's not with a ready site or anything like that. It is empowering those people. The people here, some of them have been unemployed for 10 years or more. We have access to people who can work, but there are barriers that are in their way. And those barriers could be that though they have 10, 20 years manufacturing experience, they don't have a high school diploma. So our local employers are not employing people. Secondly, if they can find a job, then if they don't have a car, they can only work between 8 and 5, or a first shift, if you will. Because our Piedmont Wagon, if you're not on it from Newton by 5 or 5:30, you can't make it to Hickory. So our second shift jobs and our third shift jobs for our blue collar workers, they can't even go. So we need to address those things. One other point that I'd like to make is, as far as my vision, is a small business incubator. And with that being said, that would actually nurture these new businesses. Not that it would be great if we bring new people in and we beautify the city with inspiring spaces, but for me, I'd rather inspire these people. These people here are hurting, and though my situation is not as dire as some, the majority of the people only have a high school diploma. And those people need our help. And it is not doing the holler and all of that at this point. We have to do something else. We have to go from within and work outward. Oh, 15 seconds? Okay. So with that being said, our homeless, we do need to do something about the homeless. I do have my entire platform out front. I implore you to read it and see where it is that I do see this city. It can be a great thing. And that's my time.
Could you introduce them, please?
Mr. Terry Revels.
Hi, I'm Terry Revels. I'm a candidate for mayor of the city of Hickory. I'd like to start out by telling you I received a phone call a couple of days ago from this lady who said that she didn't know me, but she knew all the other candidates. Well, I pretty much decided not to go in that direction. So I said, well, thank you very much for your vote. She said, you know, one of the things that you forgot to do, and that's to introduce your wife. So I want you to take a look. My wife is right over here. I've considered running for mayor for quite some time. I'm a community service type person, and community is what Hickory is all about. So what I would like to do is just tell you that it's a beautiful city. We have problems. We're going to correct these problems, or at least we're going to try. So that's one of the things I want you to continue. Budget issues, yeah, we've got a lot of budget issue problems. Employees, employee retirement, physical responsibility, infrastructure, all of these things have to be looked at. And we need to review them and see if we are headed in the right direction. There's some things about infrastructure and retirement we might not like. So we might want to see if we can follow suit and see if we can change some of that. I spent 21 years in the United States Navy. So I know about leading men and how to lead a department. I've spent a number of years on the police department, so I can tell you about crime and how the average patrolman handles that. Of course, there have been some changes made. The other thing is planning and development. Some of these things are good ideas. Inspiring spaces is a good idea. It just needs to be looked at and see if we're moving that in the right direction. The other thing is economic development. If we do something with economic development, we will bring jobs, and that's the bottom line. Accessibility and transparency. I'm all for that. I have no problems against any of the things that any of the candidates are going to say about transparency. But one of the things I think we need is town hall meetings. If we have town hall meetings and get inputs from you folks, we are going to know which direction we need to go. A website, put it on the internet, all those good things are good ideas, and I'd like to do that.
That's time.
But the end result is I'm a proven leader. I can work with people, so let's get the job done.
We'll make this work. Dr. Joseph Inglefield.
Dr. Inglefield, what's up? Your wife has been arrested at City Hall. What? Is she okay? We don't know. Where do I need to go? Where is she? Shocking. Why should you even care that my wife Rebecca was arrested? Why should you even care? After 34 years of marriage this week, I can tell you she is a wonderful wife and mother to my children, Park and Thatcher. but she is not just passionate about my family. She cares about your family, your children, her church, and the future of Hickory. She also cares about the rule of law. We both care about the people of Hickory. I have spent the past 25 years caring for the people of Hickory as a doctor. I was shocked to hear that the pools in Hickory were being bulldozed after a summer of public hearings and a $30,000 Jackson Group survey that showed over 80% of Hickory wanted a public aquatics facility. I was shocked again a year later when City Council approved money for the sales downtown. I was shocked that they used public money from the Reserve Parking Fund. No competitive bidding, no engineering supervision, no limits on the use of public employees who have other duties and responsibilities, and this steals jobs from other local contractors. What does it take to shock the people of Hickory? As people began to hear this disturbing experience, something began to happen. People who had been mistreated began to find their courage to speak, and to speak to me and others. I began to realize we need leaders who respect and listen to everyone. They say the pools were not used. They didn't keep any records. They didn't maintain the pools. They have no idea. Programming and taking care of what you have, that is at the heart of this debate. Our future depends on bringing young people back and jobs to this area. They will not return if they do not have the schools and the programs that they expect. So now we have the sales on the square, and we'll never know what we could have had. We didn't have any public input from the arts community, the music community, and other interested resources. So let's enjoy and maintain what we have and fund it properly. We don't need new taxes. We need to use what we have, and we need to hold city employees accountable.
Next up is Mr. Jeff Brittain.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here, especially on a Friday evening when there are so many other things to do around here. First of all, with 6 candidates running, everyone in Hickory has a big decision to make. Who do you want to be your next mayor? Of course, everyone up here thinks that they have the qualifications and the skills to do that, or they wouldn't be sitting up here. Throughout this evening, I'm hoping that I can prove to you that I possess the knowledge, the skills, and the determination to lead Hickory out of the problems that we're having right now. What is the role of local government, or what should we be doing? Should we enhance the beauty of Hickory? Well, sure, everybody's all for that. But only after the community is stabilized and after everyone is working. The job situation in Hickory is my #1 priority. There are 18.6% of people in the population between 25 and 34 leaving in this last decade. That's leaving a huge hole in our community. In the few years, those people who have graduated school and working and starting a family, they're going to be our next leaders, and they're not going to be here to do that job. I want to put our local government at the center of the fight against unemployment here in this MSA. I don't want to take a wait-and-see attitude where it's not my responsibility. I have a proven history of innovation. I have a proven history of leadership. I have a strategy to help bring Hickory back to being a growing and vibrant city. You have to do your job. You have to elect me, Jeff Brittain, to be mayor and allow me to implement these ideas. We must commit to what these tough times demand. As the regional leader in northwestern North Carolina, Hickory needs to step up and take ownership of that role. We must be proactive We must invest in ourselves. And I think it's time for a change, and I think it's time for progress. And I ask you to please vote for Jeff Brittain this year.
Mr. Ernie Masche.
I'd like to thank Lenoir-Rhyne College, Kate Hamilton, your staff, and everybody that's put this event together and have us here tonight. The City of Hickory, we've got a big decision ahead of us. We've been under the same administration for the last 12 years, and I think it's time for a change. Winston Churchill said, to improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often. And I think it's time for our change here. We've got a lot of issues that are facing the city that have been addressed by all the candidates. Some of the ones that I think are most important to us is our economic development in the area. The EDC's done a great job to help Catawba County and Hickory. I think we can do more. We can always do more if we want to be perfect, as Winston Churchill said. So I think we need to keep working on that and stay after those new cutting-edge jobs and new industries to bring them to Hickory. And then get our workforce educated, get our workforce trained, set up internships, set up apprenticeships with these new companies, because we want to prove that we have the type of people that they need to fill these high-tech jobs, middle-income jobs, and low-level income jobs. We need to fill them all because it makes the whole community better. Also, I think we need to work on our transparency in our current government. There's been a lot of issues over the last few years. I don't want to be known as a mayor that was not transparent and didn't communicate everything to the people. I spent a day this last week. I took my wife, who is also with me tonight somewhere out there. I want to introduce my wife, Tamara. Thank you for coming out. We walked up and down 127, and I met business owners, and I met people along the way. And you'd be surprised at the feedback that they give you. They tell you things like, Hickory's got a reputation of being hard to deal with for small business owners. I think we need to look at the regulations that we put on the small businesses, see if we can't make some common sense out of some of the regulations, instead of making a company over here behind Hickory High School get 4 different architectural drawings for a concrete slab for a dumpster. That's awful. That's all I can say about that. I talked to that business owner this morning at breakfast. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So we have a lot of work to do ahead of us. I've got leadership qualities. I've got enthusiasm. I think I'm taller than the rest of the candidates. So I think if you vote for me, that's a vote for the tallest candidate, and we're going to get something done here in Hickory. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to start the questions from the moderators. And so the first question, and I think we'll use the same order that works for everyone, is what is your most significant achievement for the greater good of the city of Hickory, and why does that make you most prepared to be the mayor of Hickory?
You want the same order, you say?
Yes, sir, if that works.
First of all, I want to thank LR and Kate and all these people for the work to put this on. It's wonderful. It's a great opportunity for us, and I appreciate them very much. I was a little taken aback because I thought with an exchange of emails this week that we kind of reached some ground rules, and so I was taken aback to not know where my time limit was, for example. But I'm delighted to tell you that I believe my greatest accomplishment has been to protect the Catawba River. We went to Raleigh. I spoke directly to the senators involved and representatives. We delivered a passionate plea to protect our water from the big cities who would like to have the first pick on growth, okay? And we were successful by a vote of 152-5. I'm very proud of that, and from that, we developed the ability to deal with the folks in Raleigh a little better and on a first-name basis. I'm also proud of the financial position we're in today as a city. Unsurpassed, in my opinion, among cities our size in the state. That didn't come easy. It came with tough decisions. It came with making tough choices. And yes, you don't always say yes to everybody's request. I would love to, and I think I could be mayor forever if I could say yes to everything. But sometimes you have to make tough choices and tough decisions. And I'm proud of the leadership that I've been able to be asked to be involved in as a member of the Board of Directors of the North Carolina League of Municipalities, Board of Directors of the North Carolina Metropolitan Mayors Coalition, and the National League of Cities University Communities Council. That's where the ideas come from for our committee to improve the college-town relationship we have with LR. Thank you.
I would say that my most significant achievement that will prepare me for being the next mayor of Hickory would be me managing 40 staff members and a budget of $2.1 million. There's a lot to be said about that. That means that the day-to-day operations, I'm familiar with that. The issues that you have with employees, I'm familiar with that. It takes someone who is, I guess we said, is not always saying yes, but one who knows how to say no as well. It does take that. A good leader, that is a prime trait of a good leader. With that being said, if you're able to manage budgets and you're able to manage people, that's really what, if you think about our city, that's what it's all about. And so let's think about with our city. Yeah, financially, yeah, we're great. You know what? Our budget's $90 million. I can see several quadrants of the city that don't even have $1 million over the course of the last few years. So what do you say about that? That is that saying no whenever you need to and saying yes even whenever it's not the politically correct thing to do, even when it's not the thing that's put on the table. Just to see some of our city is just complete eyesore. And with that being said, we have some areas that need more of our money. And with that being said, if I become the next mayor, I will make sure that the areas that need it, there are no pet projects, I don't have any special interests or anything like that, that those areas get what they need, that we have equal programming, equal access, all of those things to the people who need it most. As I said, the majority of our population, high school educated or less, they're hurting right now, and they need someone to make the right decisions and good decisions as it relates to our money. Thank you.
Well, the answer to the first question is very simple. I'm a good citizen. And as a good citizen, I pay my taxes, I respect my neighbors, and I try to obey all the laws. However, I am a VA service officer for my American Legion post, Sandy Ridge 544, and I handle veterans affairs. Anything from homelessness, drug and alcohol, to veterans that want an answer for why their benefits got turned down. So I try to research all that stuff. I've been a career Navy air traffic controller. I've handled a lot of equipment, talked to a lot of pilots, and tried to get them back aboard the carrier when they get ready to come back. This is a small thing, I know, but what I wanted to convey to you is part of the big picture of our country, and that is to protect and defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I've been a business manager and a business owner. I had the privilege of being a transportation manager for a very large trucking company, so I know about personnel, equipment, and budgets. My budget quarterly ran about $1 million. So I'm familiar about that, and I know where to look for problems. I was a police officer for a number of years, so I I know what the street cop is in for when he goes out there. Times have changed and they've got more modern equipment, but the basic policeman is the same. I could tell you a couple of more things, but my time's running out, so I just want to tell you this. Putting all my experiences together that I've told you about leadership, budget, and personnel, I'm the one that can put people together and get the job done.
The question was, what is my most significant achievement for the greater good of Hickory? I think that's my medical practice. I've been in practice for 25 years. I took over a very successful practice. I've grown from 3 employees to 25 employees. So I'm a job creator. I'm a businessman. The thing that also has been very important to me and to my family is the involvement in the nonprofits in this area. And that's what made Hickory an all-American city. Hickory rode on the backs of those nonprofits to the All-American City title. And now we've abandoned them. We need to support them. They're struggling, and City Hall needs to do something to support them before they go away. Thank you.
Mr. Brittain?
First of all, I could answer this a couple different ways, so I'm going to start off with some things I've done while I was a resident. Right after my wife and I got married in 1987, the recycling program was just getting started in the city of Hickory. The Waste Reduction Task Force asked for some volunteers to be neighborhood coordinators, and I did that. It consisted of picking up the recycling bins, delivering to my neighbors, and educating them on what the program was, what was going to go into the bin, and how that was going to be accomplished. We had several wrecks on Falling Creek Road for a number of years, and I used my experience working for the city and my knowledge of procedures to coordinate an effort to get the speeds reduced on Falling Creek Road and 37th Avenue. We had stop bars painted on the street. We had new signage. Since that time, we've not had a single accident out there, so I feel very proud of that. I served 2 full terms on the Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment, if you're not familiar with it, is now part of the Planning Commission, and we were able to make zoning variances. So if someone needs to have a small business in their house and they're in residential, we had the power as a quasi-judicial board to make that change and help them out. As an employee, I served as an employee for the city of Hickory for 12.5 years. I had a lot of opportunities to implement change for the city. A couple of them I'm the most proud of. First of all was a Cisco IP telephony system. You hear a lot of people talking about voice over IP, and that's exactly what it is. What it did was eliminate a lot of Centrex lines from, at the time, Sprint. It was a huge cost savings. We had an ROI on that project, which cost about $164,000 of less than 3 years. Since that time, the city is consistently saving money. Another one I'm very proud of is I won an innovation award for this, actually. It was putting virtual desktops at the 2 libraries. We eliminated doing the same thing over and over and over of buying new PCs every year. Thank you.
I have a couple of achievements that I'm quite proud of. As a businessman, I started out as a incorporated myself as an individual photographer. Then I joined forces with a partner. We started a corporation that I helped run for 23 plus years with employees, doing schedules, balancing budgets. Same thing like running the city of Hickory. So I think that I've got the business background that would be good for the greater city of Hickory. But I think more locally, I'm proud of being a Cub Scout leader. I did that for about 6 years while my son was going through Scouts, and you can't put a price on developing the character of a young man that's as a son of a single mom that doesn't have a dad at home to help him build a Pinewood Derby car. You build character in that young man, and you help lift him up, and the look on his face after he wins the Pinewood Derby, after he's done that by himself, is priceless. I think we need to engage our youth more in the community, get them involved in our government, and with my previous leadership in Scouts, I think I can do that with the youth, and also my business leadership. Thank you.
The next question we have for our candidates is, what would you do as mayor to help attract cultural events and diverse populations to the city of Hickory? And we'll begin with Mayor Wright.
Well, I would say you can go, on any typical weekend, you can go downtown and you can see large crowds under the sails enjoying the symphony or the Contras Quartet. You can see large crowds enjoying themselves at Hickory Alive over next to City Hall. This past weekend, we had a Pride event in that same spot. The young people have a number of choices for dining and often with live music at the tap room at the Hickory Station. So I feel like if we can continue to build on those things, continue to partner as the city is with the Hickory Music Factory, I think with a modest, reasonable amount of investment by our city, we can make some wonderful things happen. I am very proud of the Music Factory. I'm proud of collaborating with the Arts Center, with the Science Center, with Lenoir-Rhyne University, and I think we can continue to expand the partnerships. The city, through the Innovate Hickory, Innovate Catawba program that I'm committed to lead, and I'm not hearing very much from the other candidates, and that's why I want to be mayor for 1 more year, so I can help lead that and develop more amenities and more inspiring events and performances for the great people of Hickory of all ages, all races, very diverse group. Thank you.
Ms. Harold.
Well, Ernie mentioned he's the tallest, I'm the youngest, so I guess I'll go ahead and put that out there. Let's see. We were talking about what would I do to attract cultural events and diverse populations to Hickory. Our population, as of the 2010 census, says that we had 74.9% white, and I'm just going to name like maybe our top 3 or 4. 74.9% white and 14.3% black and 11.4% Hispanic. Okay, with that being said, when we go to the sales and when we go certain places in Hickory, all of us are not represented there. The reason why is all of us don't feel comfortable. Now, I love rock and roll. I love every single genre of music that you could name, but that's not everybody. I'm a little different. With that being said, now we have Oktoberfest coming up, and I was all excited, and I started mentioning it on Facebook, and someone brought it to my attention, which I never thought about. Oh, but there's nothing for me. And I'm like, there's not? And with that being said, sometimes people don't always vocalize what it is that they need until we ask them the question, or we feel comfortable enough to say what it is that we need. Cultural events, yes, Pride was this weekend, and I was actually there. We don't have a lot of different things for a lot of different people. Cinco de Mayo, Pride Fest, Hmong New Year, Chinese New Year, all of those things would be things that would be great to have downtown Hickory or wherever. Maybe it wouldn't even be downtown Hickory. Maybe one of those brand new business owners that I'm talking about will start something in their area to bring money to other places in Hickory. Oh, my time. I'm going to follow directions and stop. Thank you.
Mr. Revels.
pay again, but that's in from Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's Cincinnati.
Okay. Both military and civilian have long recognized that art is a way to uphold morale, anxiety, and to express our democratic values. I'm going to have to quote Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill said, when he was asked by his military leaders to close the theaters in World War II, his comment was, "Good God, man, what do you think we're fighting for?" So that being said, how would I bring cultural and diverse population to Hickory? And this is a simple thing. It's a win-win for everyone, I think. It is called place making. You get 2 or 3 different cultures together, and you have a gathering. It could be in the neighborhood, it could be downtown, it could be under the square, it could be a parking lot or in the mall. So all I'm saying to you is that if we bring things like a Renaissance Festival here to Hickory, that's wonderful. And I'm sure there are many people like, excuse me, my wife and myself that love the Renaissance Festival. But there's other population here that we got to worry with. Excuse me, that's the wrong word. Enhance is the word. But basically, if we have people that know how to play the guitar and make music, we could have something up on the square for children. Thank you very much.
Dr. Inglefield?
I think the key thing that we need to do is strengthen what we already have. We have a symphony. We have a wonderful place downtown for music. People tell me that we should expand the music downtown. I am totally in favor of that. I think it's a wonderful addition. It's a wonderful program. And I think that's what's important to remember, is it's a program. And that program can be expanded throughout town. It doesn't have to be just downtown. It can be all over Hickory. And I do think we need diversity down in terms of the selections of the music that's available and the entertainment. We could have rock and roll. We can have salsa. We can have street performers. There's a lot of things that will make it an attractive place to come to downtown and to eat at the restaurants. And I think it is really very important that we try to stabilize that and keep it going, because it does make a big difference. Now, we have the sales at this point, and so if you get lemons, you make lemonade. We need to take advantage of the fact of what we have. But who knows what we could have had if we'd had some input from the art community. If we'd have asked Gordon Ross, what sort of facility would really enhance the symphony playing downtown? But we didn't ask any of those questions. We didn't get expert advice. We built what we wanted to do as a pet project. So I think it's very important that if we're going to do things to increase diversity and increase entertainment, we need to include everyone and get the best advice that we can get. I think we need, if we want to have diversity, we need to have a mission statement on diversity. We need to know what our goals are. And you know, diversity is actually the law. And I hope Hickory will follow the law with diversity.
I'd like to start with the cultural part of the question. And I guess a lot depends on what kind of events and the quality of those events that we'd be talking about bringing to Hickory. If we're going to compete regionally, then we have to have a better venue. A semicircle bench down at Sills on the Square is not going to make us compete with Asheville or Charlotte or Greensboro. Maybe we don't have to compete with Charlotte, or maybe we don't have to compete with Greensboro. but actual is a real possibility. But to do that, we have to have a venue that's comparable to what they're providing. That could be a small multi-purpose coliseum, but that takes money that we don't have right now. What we could do is partner with the convention center. I've been to several convention centers where they turn that in to a performing center. They bring in all these different stages and all this stuff, so we can do that. We have LR, we have CBCC, they have venues that we might could partner with and use there as well. But if we're going to attract regional or national events to Hickory, we've got to be able to compete at that level. Now we'll talk a little bit about diversity. I did a little research. 64% of the people in the same age group that I was talking about leaving earlier, between the ages of 25 and 34, look for jobs in a place where they want to live. The other 36% say they don't care, they're looking for a job. You don't have to have a PhD in mathematics to see that's a 100% of people who are looking for a job is either their number one or number two priority before they're looking for where they're going to live for the rest of their life. We've got to fix the problem with jobs. The diversity, I think, can be solved on several different levels. We can use businesses, we can use the chamber, using some of the 21st century technologies, websites, Facebook, YouTube. But I think there's a lot of things that we can do very cheaply to help market ourselves better in the region. Thank you.
And finally, Mr. Masche.
I think Hickory, as a city its size, has some great resources, and we need to tap those resources. We're missing out on a lot of cultural events. We've got Lake Hickory, we've got a regional airport, we've got our downtown facility, we have the convention center, and I think we just need to advertise it more, market Hickory more, go after some of these events and show them what we can do here in Hickory because of the venue that we have. I think Hickory's a great city. I love living in Hickory. I've had the opportunity to travel internationally and around the country, and I've seen other cities and how they thrive and how they have all these great events every weekend of the year. And there's no reason why Hickory can't be that same kind of place where people want to travel to from the Midwest and from the West Coast. So we need to tap those resources we have, come up with a plan to use them better than we're doing right now, and go after those events. As far as the diverse populations in Hickory, as Candice gave you the breakdown on the white, African American, and Hispanic neighborhoods, I think we need to reach out to all of them because they all are part of our city. They all have their own even cultural events that they do, like the Rumba Club over on Highway 70. I met with the owner of that club there today and spoke with him about the events they have coming up for the Hispanic community. And they're doing great things for the Hispanic community, and I think the city of Hickory needs to jump on board and get behind that also because they are a big part of our community. And I think there's still some division. It's a shame to say that in 2013 that even, I don't like to use this word, but even racism might still be here in Hickory, and I don't think that's right. I think we're all humans and we need to act humane to each other and nurture each other, and I think I'm the leader that we need to bring everybody back together and make Hickory great again.
I'd like to start by apologizing for getting your name wrong twice. I'm sorry for getting your name wrong twice. I'll fix it. Okay, well, we'll move on to the next question. Would you like to read it? Excellent. Excellent.
All right, our next question for the candidates is, what are the two most significant issues facing the city of Hickory in the next 2 years, and what would you do to address these issues?
Mr. Hamilton, are we allowed as we go through to perhaps challenge something said earlier?
After these questions, we certainly will, sir.
Will that be part of our closing remarks?
That will not be part of the closing remarks.
Thank you. The two most urgent challenges the next 2 years, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, the first thing we've got to do is we've got to grow jobs to grow population. And we've got to grow population to grow jobs. We have got to implement Innovate Catawba, Innovate Hickory, make the investments that we know we need to make so that we can attract and retain people of all ages, all creeds, all colors. Since 2010, our metropolitan area has had a 0.5% decline in population. I don't know about you, but I'm taking that very seriously. I'm saying now is the time for us to start driving the population up by growing jobs and driving jobs up by growing the population. The second thing continues to be our finances. We have been very fortunate working through the North Carolina League of Municipalities to keep the people in Raleigh from getting hold of our precious tax resources. There's a tendency, because they collect a lot of the taxes, there's a tendency for them to feel that they might just hold on to some of it. We are down there all the time fighting to protect that, and I am proud to serve on the Legislative Action Committee of the North Carolina League as co-chair, as we try to make sure we protect the precious dollars that go through the state's hands. Thank you.
The two most significant issues that the city faces are homelessness and joblessness, or unemployment. With that being said, my plan, and some of you have heard this before, is establishing a business incubator. And entrepreneurs, I love them. I am one. But it's something about telling someone, and over the course of this campaign trail, what is it that you would like to do? Asking that question and seeing someone's eyes light up. And you know why? They lit up because someone is interested in what it is that I'm doing, what it is that I want to do. When I say about the inspiring spaces, and I say instead of inspiring spaces, I say inspiring people, how cool would it be that the people within the city actually build those things? Not us just beautify the city, but actually let the people that are here build first. With that being said, we could partner with SCORE, the Chamber, and CBCC, and the SBA, and others to help with the running of the business incubator. As well, aggressively going after new business. What do they look for? What's your crime rate like? Ours hasn't been so bad, but we'll notice that it has been increasing. Robberies have been increasing and things of that nature because people are not working. Not only that, partnering with CBCC to make sure that people that don't have high school diplomas, let's get the employers to hire them on a conditional basis for 3 to 6 months, have the employer actually have the training at the location, and then once the person gets their GED, then they solidify their job employment. The other thing is homelessness. The veterans, there was a place on 70, a hotel that was going to be revamped. This is so good. You got to read my platform to hear about it. So I'm going to stop again because I'm a follow direction person.
Sometimes that chair is hard to get out of. The answer is jobs and economic development. As we all know, many in North Carolina, many in North Carolina's industries are shedding jobs. What used to be a person coming in with minimum education, minimum skills, those jobs are going fast. And the skilled workers that are out there, baby boom generation is here. They're starting to retire, which broadens the gap for skilled workers. Well, how do we stop this? We can try to get our citizens to go back to school, get a GED if necessary, get that degree in technology or something that they're interested in, and also skill sets. For example, if they want to know all about computers, they need to find out about computers. If we do nothing at all, what you're going to wind up with is a population of part-time workers or minimum wage workers. And that is not going to be enough to sustain a family. So what I'm thinking about is getting this economic development going, bring jobs here, put people to work, and that's just some of the areas that I'm looking at. I have many, many more, but they don't want me to do that.
The two most important issues that are coming up in the next 2 years have been around for a long time, at least for 12 years. And that's jobs and also health and wellness. 1/3 of the people in Hickory are obese, and a lot of that has to do with the lack of recreational facilities. We need to strengthen our recreational programming, both in our community and in our schools. And we also need to make it attractive for jobs. We have a wonderful program called Champions of Education that has new ideas about bringing jobs to Hickory. And one of those is making sure that the employers who are looking for skilled workers know that a certain percentage of our workers have been qualified with testing. And so to meet those criteria, the Champions of Education has set up a program. And that's going to lead to more jobs. And it's not going to lead to minimum wage jobs, which are half the jobs in Hickory. We need jobs that are sustaining. We need jobs that are family supporting. And that is a crisis for us. And that all relates back to health and wellness. And we are not going to attract people to this area unless we have that program that they have come to expect. They expect a vibrant downtown. They expect Parks and Rec. They will not move here. And your own children will not move back. So it's time for change. We've had 12 years of the same old, and we need to move on.
I've already mentioned this earlier. My number one priority, of course, would be unemployment issues that we have here in Hickory. That means jobs. That means recruiting new jobs. That means keeping the jobs that we have here. And I propose we would do this through the hiring of an economic development person, someone who works full-time for the city of Hickory on staff that we can manage, that we can control. We're depending right now on the Economic Development Corporation and word of mouth and other people to bring jobs to Hickory. I think we need to be proactive and we need to go after these jobs ourselves. And I think we can do that with a person focused on that. The School of Government a couple years ago did a survey. 64% of local governments in North Carolina have a dedicated economic development person working on staff to bring those businesses to their area. We do not, and I think we need to do that. The second issue that I think really needs to be handled is our perception of openness and transparency. The city has a black eye right now, from demolishing pools to the debacle of building the cells and the perception of unfair investing in only certain parts of town. We need to fix these things. And I think I can do that through openness and transparency using 21st century technologies. I would also like to hold the mayor, whoever that is, the city council and the city manager's office accountable for their actions. I think there's a lot that can be said for being totally open and honest with the people that you're dealing with. The residents are the people that we're trying to serve, and they should have a voice in what they're saying.
just say ditto on everything everybody else just said, right? I have to come up with something. I don't want to sound like a broken record, so I've changed my answer right here in midstream, so I'm going to kind of throw something out here. According to the National League of Cities, the following specific responsibilities of the mayor are chair governing body meetings, which includes paying attention to parliamentary procedure and ensure the accomplishment of desired outcomes. And that's the outcomes of what the people want, not what anybody might have as a personal agenda at City Hall, whether it's an employee or a city council member or the mayor. So one of my big things is transparency with our government. I think we need to listen to the people more. I think we need to have City Hall meetings. This would be a great venue to do those in if Lenoir-Rhyne would allow us to do it once every 3 months. Come out here and let people bring their concerns to the City Hall and to the mayor and let them know what they're interested in, and then take that information back, make some wise decisions, get the right people to surround you to help you with the answers that are going to benefit the whole city, not just downtown Hickory, not just southeast Hickory, not just northwest Hickory. It needs to be for all of the citizens, all of the populations, all of the races, all of the creeds, and it needs to be that needs to be done. Also, the business development, I touched on this in my opening remarks. The deregulation of some of the things that we do with new businesses. Hickory has got the reputation of being one of the hardest cities in North Carolina to start a new business. I talked to a business owner a couple weeks ago. He said he's opened in 5 other cities, and if he had his choice, he'd go back to those other 5 and not be in Hickory anymore. So we definitely need to work on deregulation of and help nurture these new businesses instead of making it hard for them to open up.
So for general fairness, I've offered the candidates a 5-minute bathroom break, and we're going to grab them some water. And so when we come back, we will start the cross-examination phase, where we'll get some exchange and hopefully some depth and discussion about some of the claims that have been made so far throughout the debate. So thank you so far for holding out with us, and we hope you return in 5 minutes to find out a little bit more. Thank you.